So welcome everybody. Yeah, see, Shauna's doing what Lisa and I were doing too, checking the hair. I'm going to start out the meeting a little unorthodox for anybody who is new to the CVB. Excuse me, Lola Unruh passed away on Monday. And she had been a very intricate part of CVB for many years. When we get to new business, I do want to propose that we set a, like a cost or something and send flowers to Joe's funeral home. So we'll circle around back to that at new business, but just to let you know, she, as Anthony well knows, she did not ever want her picture taken, although we threatened many times to take her picture and post it on
Yes,
the
we did.
CVB page. And she would respond with, "I'm leaving. I'm just going. No, you're not going to take my picture." Now I wish we'd have had one of her. Well, Shauna was there too.
What happened, Sue?
Lola Unruh passed away Monday.
From?
Well, from what I understand, she had COVID. She was off work for 2 weeks, went to work on Monday, was not feeling well. Her coworkers sent her to the ER hospital to get checked out. And while she was there, she coded and they brought her back, took her to Kansas Heart in Wichita, and she passed away at Kansas Heart.
Wow. Well, I just looked it up. Since her age is listed on here, I won't tell you that she was a year older than me, but anyway.
Well, I know how old you are then because
I know you do, but
I printed it out. I went to Joe's funeral home and saw her in the obituary. Okay, Shauna and Casey, you guys are on mute. Didn't know if you knew that. Okay, there's Casey. So we'll just start the meeting with the call to order, and it's 4:36. So Matt, do you want to take the reins here and go over our financials that everybody was sent and kind of give us an update?
Sure. So last year was a little bit odd for the CVB.
That's an understatement. Sorry.
Odd year. Yeah, odd year. So we had a lot of things that kind of passed through us.
Now, one of the things I noticed, or that I was going to bring up, that in the past, we've always given money to the Trojan Classic, but they did not have it this year because of COVID.
Right.
So we want to make sure we get that on our agenda for next year early enough so that we can give them funds. They weren't going to have any of the, what's that room where they go to?
Hospitality
room.
That's it. They weren't going to do any of that this year. Everything was just kept at a real minimum.
So yeah, this year, or 2020, was a little bit odd. We had that $100,000 donation that came through the CVB for the community splash park, and so that we ended up being just kind of a pass through for that. And then we also had the money that was raised for the Christmas tree, so that came through as well. From the city's perspective, from what we got from the transient guest tax, there was $1,000 a month is what we budget for the year. And we actually ended up coming up a little bit short on that transient guest tax. About $630 was generated than what we paid. So the city kicked in $630 some of revenue for the CVB this last year, which really, all things considered, isn't terrible. Just because 2020 was an off year. With COVID, we didn't really have a whole lot of stays at the motel, but that does show that they're still doing pretty well. I mean, they did manage to get back up to what we budgeted. So the bad news is we won't have a one-time infusion like we did last year in January of nearly $4,000. We won't get that because we just didn't get that much bed tax last year. So what we'll get, we'll plan on the 12,000 again for this year. But at the end of the day, we ended up with a positive in the CVB because of all the things that came through of $5,333.65. Now, some of that's going to go out the door because some of those are encumbered funds that are going for the Christmas tree, and there's a couple outstanding checks out there still. So at the end of the day, they look a little funky. The cash balance for the CVB coming into this year on January 1st was $8,717.32. So that's where we're at. And I've got another $1,000 check, the first distribution for January that I need to deposit yet. But that gives us about, looking at that check and what's out there, I'm pretty comfortable saying we're at that, 9,717.33 is probably a pretty safe number to say we have as starting cash. So overall, not a bad year, but we'll have to, when we do the budget for this year, along with taking in the Trojan Classic, thinking about that, how that's going to look coming up for next year, we'll want to, set priorities. I'm not real sure how the budgeting process goes for the CVB every year, but once we kind of hammer that out, I assume we'll probably just start with kind of what we did last year and look at that and build from there. But whatever the suggestion is, whatever the process is, I'm more than happy to do it.
Well, just kind of the things that we have spent money on in the past, like I said, Marion County Fair is one of them. I think there's a lot of things that are still up in the air about what is going to be held because it's still too early in the year, and with COVID, hopefully that will change as months go by. But we've got all these different things that we do. Billboards, is that all taken care of now, or do we have to look at that as another expense?
Yeah, so right now they're taken care of for the year, but they'll come due in the middle, or I think September or October. So
Okay.
we'll have to look at that. They're a yearly lease.
So maybe we'll have a chance to get that, so that stays going. And then, like I said, Trojan Classic, I'd really like to be able to, if that is something that is going to be held, that's kind of a biggie. I'd like to see us be able to contribute to that as well. Because it is visitors that come to town.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the CVB does for the Arts and Crafts Fair. Kind of what I'm sure there's some promotional pieces maybe with that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I'm going to make an assumption that we're going to have that this year. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if in the last few years if we've done much for Arts and Crafts Fair.
I
That
was trying to
committee does
remember
so
what
much-
we did.
Yeah, I mean, that committee does so much of the promoting. I don't know that we've ever been involved in what they do, honestly. Not that we couldn't be, but I don't think we ever have.
They take care of a lot of their expenses and
Yeah.
promotions on their own.
Right,
They also get television.
right.
12, I think, is one that's
I
promoted.
think it's one of those things where they always have a lot more money than we do, so they kind of take care of it.
Yeah, they do. You are right. Does anybody have any other questions on our budget and the information for our financials?
I think Lisa does.
I do.
Well,
I don't think I do.
you did one of these. I thought maybe that
Oh,
was
no, somebody was coming into the room and I was telling him to be quiet.
Oh,
okay.
Because you never know what's going to be said in this office. No.
Well, of course. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions or comments more on the financials, should we just go ahead and have somebody make a motion to accept them as presented?
I move that we accept them as presented.
Okay, any second?
I'll second it.
And Lisa, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, as far as our November minutes, you guys all got that information, correct? Minutes for the agenda for the November meeting.
Yes.
The only thing I saw was in the review of October financials and review of October minutes, except should actually be except with, that starts with an A. That's the only issue I saw.
Okay. You're right. ACC.
I'm sure somebody just overlooked that.
I don't know. Well, I will get that changed.
Yeah, otherwise it looked good.
Okay. From our November meeting, the minutes was, I did want to touch on the photography and Christmas lights prizes. Well, actually, like Matt and I were the ones who were there to hand out the money for the prizes. Man, there was some tear-jerky moments during both of those because they were receiving cash. One of the winners, the person that was with the winner said, "Oh my gosh, is that cash? Is that $100 bill cash?" And I said, "Yes." Matt said, "Yeah, it is." And all of a sudden, tears were welling up in Mom's eyes and turned red, and she started sniffing. And she goes, "That's $100 cash." As they walked out the door, she said to her daughter, "Now you can buy those shoes that you wanted." And I just about lost it. It was like, oh, how touching. We had a number of different people. One recipient from the light contest, the Christmas tree light contest, was so touched because she said, "I'm going to use this money and pay on my electric bill." So the wants and needs of people vary from one extreme to the other, from shoes to paying electric bills. And from what Matt and I witnessed and experienced with all the people who won, the cash was greatly appreciated. Do we have any other comments about or questions about the minutes from our November meeting? Anything else?
I move that we accept the minutes with the change that we talked about.
Got it.
I'd second
I'll
that.
second.
Casey's
Casey,
gonna
Casey
second.
can second it.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. The next call to business would be the new business. Matt, do you want to go ahead and tell about Connie Weber?
Well, Connie was appointed to by Mayor Lou to fill Stacy Silhan's position on the board. So Connie will be coming on. There was a little bit of a mix-up on getting her contact information included on this today. So hopefully she'll be able to join us for our next meeting. But want to welcome Connie to the board and then right into the secretary role. So that'll be fun for her, I'm sure. I'm not sure if she knows that part, but
Well, we can always leave it as a surprise.
it'll be a fun surprise for her, I guess.
Well, like I said, the other thing that I just wanted to touch on was in new business. I would like to propose that we have an amount of money that we use to buy some flowers for Lola's funeral on the page from Joe's Funeral Home. They've asked that the flowers could be sent to the funeral home itself. The family will meet with people on Friday evening. They will be from 5 to 7. And then the service, Celebration of Life, will be 11 o'clock on Saturday at the Abenfeld Church. And if anybody would like to make a motion for a specific amount of money to be sent from the CVB, since she was very intricate in the function of CVB for many, many years.
Are you gonna do flowers, or do you want to do a plant that could be kept? I mean, I think your price range changes depending on which way you go.
Okay, do you have a
And if
specific?
we're doing it through Kathy's, if that's what the choice is, she's a little bit more pricey. And I would say, because we do a lot of, unfortunately, funeral plants. And I would say you're gonna want to go at least in the 65 to 70 range to get something decent.
Okay,
Well, I move that we do up to $75 from Kathy's Floral for Lola Unruh.
I'll second that.
okay, up to $75.
Or I should, before we do that, I forgot, there is also timeless fixations, I believe,
Oh, never thought about that.
too.
Yes,
I didn't even think about that till right now, and I don't have a preference one way or the other.
And they do planters, don't they? Like, the,
yes,
because I guess with plants, at least you keep it. It doesn't just dry up and go away. It's a nice living tribute to her, for her daughter or whoever.
oh gosh, yeah. Kelsey, according to her obituary, lives in Wichita, but she worked for the newspaper for many years.
Okay.
Out of Marion.
So yeah, Timeless would do it. If they have stuff to do it, they would do a really nice job.
Does anybody particular want to contact Timeless Fixation? Timeless Fixations.
I can do it.
Okay, Lisa's gonna do it. And then
What do we need from them? Like an email statement to pay it?
Yeah.
How do you want that done?
Yeah, we can do it that way, or we can, we'll need something to pay from.
Okay. Or if they prefer, if I just pay them and give you guys the statement showing that I paid it, is that good enough too?
and then
Yep.
we just reimburse you.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll want to do it without the payment. I don't know.
Yeah, either way works
That-
fine.
Okay,
That would be great, Lisa. Thank you.
not a problem.
So Everybody in agreement then? Anthony made the motion, Lisa seconded for $75. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's really great though that we do that for their family, because like I said, she's going to be missed. She was an intricate part of downtown Hillsboro for a long time. The old business, like I said, we kind of covered that a little bit with the cash prizes. Matt and I had talked, and we felt after the reactions of everybody that that would be the way to go from the CBB when we have a contest. So if there's anybody who would like to discuss other options, this would be a good time to do it.
Well,
just-
what did we used to do? Was it chamber bucks before?
Yes,
Okay.
but it just was almost like grab your heart and rip it a little bit because of the different needs that people had. And I was like, I had to catch my breath a few times. It's a good thing I was wearing a mask.
Mm.
If it would be in agreement with everyone, we would continue with cash prizes when we have any kind of contests.
do we want to look at each contest individually and just decide at the time? Because there might be other options out there even other than cash or chamber bucks, that we don't know about. So I don't know
Yes.
what,
Now, what we did for the Christmas lights, we had the cash, and then we also had a $25 gift certificate from individual eating establishments in Hillsboro. And it was really great because Matt brought everything with the envelopes, and we just kind of put them in, and then they got to draw them blind. So whatever eating establishment they got, it was because they drew it. We didn't hand it to them.
Mhm.
And we thought that was kind of fun. We told them, you guys get to choose.
I'm more in favor of giving out gift certificates from local businesses or chamber bucks. I mean, I think that to me is more appropriate. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I mean, we want them to spend the money in town. So, and I'm sure most of them do. But that's just my 2 cents.
And it's worth it. Yes, I was kind of, it's good 2 cents. It's good 2 cents.
If we have different contests, we could do it different ways. One contest we could do cash, maybe something at Christmas because that seemed to be appropriate. Maybe at another contest, we could do chamber bucks and a gift certificate or whatever. That way we're doing some different things. It's not always, it's not always the same thing.
Right. And then too, the combination of the two, when we had the gift certificates to the eating establishments, and then we also had the cash, that was a real nice combination.
Mhm.
That was something we can always do. We don't have to do just one. We can combine.
Right.
I'd like
I
to
agree with Lisa. I think we ought to do it kind of on a case by case basis, and every it's not like we run a ton of contests, but every one of them
Right.
will be a little bit different. So
Who knows? Maybe we'll end up doing a contest for Easter. Like we do, who's got the biggest bunny in their yard or something.
Might be an opportunity at Easter. We just, and maybe I should wait till you want the report from Chamber, but we haven't set anything in motion yet for 2021. But it was brought up a special type of Easter egg hunt that would get people into the stores. sponsored by Chamber. And so that might be
Wow.
something maybe CVB would want to be a part of, but we haven't even, it was just touched on.
And that's something too, that would bring in the visitors and
Yep.
people from other communities. So that's right up the alley of the CVB.
Yeah. So that's something here in another month or so, we'll know more about what we're wanting to do.
Oh, that sounds like a good one. I like that. So possible Easter egg hunt with
Mhm.
businesses. Okay. As far as the report from the museum board, there have been 2 new light post lights that have been installed over at the Scheffler House. Before Christmas, there had been a work day over there, and I noticed that one of the lights was damaged, and one thing led to another. And when the darlings from the city of Hillsboro Electric Department came over to install the new lamps, they shared with us that the one lamp that had been broken and damaged was due to vandalism, and that there seems to be a lot of vandalism going on right now with other light posts and light fixtures, especially around the city park area. So just kind of frustrating that we have all these things going for the city of Hillsboro, and somebody decides that it's not worthy of respecting, and they're trying to tear stuff up.
Yeah,
At
there's
this-
been a lot of spray painted stuff as well. Yeah, on I know on West Grand, I know on some of the signs it says no dead end now, or the old lumber yard was spray painted. It's covered up now, but you can tell the different red paint. But yes, kids were going around. If people had stuff sitting out by the trash, they were spray painting it. A lady was trying to give away a free TV for someone in need. They spray painted the top of it. So yeah, lots of vandalism going on.
And you know, that kind of reflects back on the city of Hillsboro, as far as like people go through town and see that, and it doesn't give a good impression. So I hope they get, you know, if whoever is doing it, whatever their age group, if they are so bored that they think they have to vandalize things, find out who they are, send them to my house. I have a list of things for them to do. They will be anything but bored, and they will be pooped out at the end of the day and won't have time to go around and doing this stuff. Well, Lisa, I'm looking forward to hearing more on this Easter egg hunt with the businesses, and possibly doing some promotions through the CVB to see if we can help in that department. Is there any other business that anyone would like to bring to the board today?
Actually, I do have one other thing. So the CVB is a member of the South Central Kansas Tourism Group. That was something we did, I think, back in June of last year.
Yes, yes.
And I don't, you know, when we filled it out, I just went ahead and put my email on the form so that way we could get it taken care of. I don't know if there's, Sue, if you would like to get those emails or something like that. The group meets monthly. So like this month they're meeting Wednesday. Actually, they met today at 10 a.m. via Zoom. So I think they meet like the fourth Wednesday of the month, maybe. they have a schedule already figured out for the year. Let me pull it up here. So their next meeting is February 24th at 10 a.m. I don't know if there's somebody here on this board that wants to go to those meetings and participate. There's definitely some worth in us being involved in that at
Oh, yeah.
some level. So
Can you just forward those emails then to the rest of the board?
yeah, I'd be happy to do that. They didn't meet for part of last year because of COVID, and they're meeting via Zoom now. I think maybe they just started meeting again in either November or December. But yeah, I would be happy to forward those. And if there's somebody that, that wants to be on those meetings, I can have your email added to their list too.
Now you have my email address, right?
Yeah.
If you want to add that, that would be great. And then they would just send out notices so that we can be on. And then
Yeah,
if anybody else wants to.
Yeah, I'll talk to Christina Hayes from Great Bend. She's the president, and I'll have her add your email.
Because that way, if anybody else is available those days from the CVB board, they could also attend those meetings. That would be great.
Yeah, and they have some events. I know Christina Hayes real well. I've never been a part of South Central Kansas Tourism Group. I was part of the Southwest Kansas Tourism Group. But I know Christina real well from when I was in S County. We co-hosted some events together, and she's really nice, and she knows a lot about tourism and that kind of thing. So
Christina Hayes is her name?
Yeah. She's the community development director for the city of Great Bend. And they've got some there's a tourism industry association of Kansas. This group is pretty involved in that. And so they do some things in Topeka, and they have a guidebook for the region. So there are some things that I think that we should probably be involved in.
Oh, that would be great. Get the information out about Hillsboro and things we have to offer. Because even with all the vandalism and the spray painting, it's still a great place to live and work. Did anyone have any other thoughts on some other promotions or things that would be coming up? In addition to what Lisa shared with us as far as tournaments or anything like that that we know of? My thought was recently I had to go to Marion, and I know this was something that was discussed many years ago with the CVB, that Marion has the rhinos and stuff. Have we ever thought about trying to do something along those lines to promote Hillsboro? Not a rhino, but
Yeah, does Canton have something? I feel like Canton has something too.
they do.
I can't think of what it is though.
Well, with Hillsboro having the high school or the school district is the Trojans, and then we have Tabor College, the Blue Jays. Do you think we could maybe think about in the future doing something that would promote Hillsboro like those two towns do?
Yeah, like a Blue Jay dressed up as a Trojan.
Heck yeah. Oh, I've got just the costume for you, Anthony. That would be great. And especially, that would be fun.
It wouldn't be the first time I've worn a bird costume, so
Oh, good, you have experience.
Yeah, I do. Our school mascot was the Roosters in high school, and I used to dress up in the mascot uniform when I was in high school. So
Well, I was the Hillsboro Trojan when I was a freshman in high school, so
yeah,
that was an adventure. If everybody wouldn't mind just kind of putting that, in the back of your mind, and maybe one of our next meetings, we could discuss doing something that would promote Hillsborough in the same sense that the Rhinos and then Canton. What is it that Canton has? They've got something out in front of their businesses.
I
too.
cannot think of what it is, but yeah, I remember seeing that when we had gone through there. And I swear there's another place that has something in their town.
one thing that I get asked about every once in a while, like, and Krista Heinrichs and I have talked about it before, is like, are they called barn quilts? You know,
Uh-huh.
that's been, I know it's not an animal or anything like that, but that's been something that has been talked about by several people in town. And I know Krista Heinrichs, is really interested in doing something like that. So, maybe that's something we could look at too as an idea.
Yes, there had been, it's been a number of years ago already, that there was discussion with the CVB about having some kind of quilt blocks, the kind that are painted and then they put
Mhm.
outside their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was one of the things that had come up with Lola, and we were
Yeah.
trying to get that going. Anthony, were you on the board then? On it?
I remember talking about it at CVB, probably when Lola was on the CVB board.
I actually like that a lot better than something like a rhino. I just,
Yeah,
I think it's cute in Marion,
yeah.
but
I never quite understood why the rhino. But
I, it had something to do with, I think they started that with Chingawassa Days somehow. And
yeah,
Oh.
the mayor, Mary Olson, it had something to do with her. I
And
don't know.
they customized them. Like if you go to the Tampa State Bank, Ed and Mary Costello were kind of the founders of that bank. And so they have two rhinos there. One is Ed, one is Mary. It's very personalized.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that's something that we could try to work with, within the city, Hillsboro, the quilt block things and
Wouldn't it be kind of neat if we did something memorial wise for Lola?
oh, that would be great.
What if we had a memorial quilt? I don't know, something she was trying to, she was into beautification. I remember that.
Yeah, her and I had a lot of, discussions about beautification and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's not a bad idea, Shauna, to do
Thanks.
something like that.
Yeah.
That
Like
might
the-
be something we want to do down the road and either have downtown somewhere or maybe at the park with her
Yeah.
name on it.
Yeah, that would be
I like
cool.
that.
And she's a Hillsborough High School graduate, so.
Heavens, yes.
Have to put some thought into that and see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, she was a member on this board and a lot of others, she was quite she
Yeah.
served in a lot of different capacities.
She is going to be missed terribly, that's for sure. Well, if we want to go ahead and maybe revisit that at our next meeting, kind of give everybody a chance to put some thoughts and ideas, and we can bring them to the board and come up with something to honor her from the CVB, because she spent a lot of time with the CVB. Now, didn't she also, wasn't she also involved with the chamber?
Well, I don't have a history with them, so I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I know with Main Street Ministries, she was on their board.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Didn't she also have something to do with Booster Club? I thought she was involved with Booster Club for the high school.
I don't know.
Well, if we could think about that and bring that back to the table then next month. I think it's a good idea to remember that she did a lot for the Hillsboro community, like you said, with all the other different things. Well, thank you so much then, Lisa, to contact Timeless Fixations and get something there into Joe's funeral home for Friday.
Yep.
Friday. Because it starts, what time did I say? 5 o'clock? Yeah. 5 o'clock Friday is when they're having the family will receive friends from 5 to 7. And if there isn't anything else, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
I'll do it. Oh, right. Just like the old days.
Okay. Oh, let's give this one to Matt. He hasn't done anything.
All right.
Okay, everybody. Everybody in favor of the adjournment, say aye. Aye. And we'll see you all next month. And then I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas on something to give honor to our dear Lola. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Please stay
Okay.
healthy and safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.